There we go. We should be live. Good morning, Vikrita.
Good morning, Ellie. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Good morning, everyone. Um, my name is Sakrita. I'm your caseworker over at Dreamers Together, and with me, I have my teammate, accredited rep Elizabeth Reyes. We're going to be answering any general AOS questions that you may have. Just please keep in mind that if you have any DAC or AP related, head on over to that Facebook group, and they'll be able to help you in that group. So, Ellie, any updates on your end?
I think that I've not been seeing as much questions about the 40 credits anymore. We have seen some successful approvals after being RFE'd and sending back the same information again. So I think, hopefully everybody is. If you are still running into issues with the RFEs, we know that you can still send them the same information back and you won't have any issues with that. So continue to do what you've been doing. Um, you can submit the IA-64 though if you want to. You don't really need to.
Yes.
Don't do both of them.
Yes, correct. Do not do them together. If you choose to file for the exemption, file, but please be prepared because you may get an RFE. If you choose to, bypass all of that and have your spouse file the 864, you may do that as well. Just please do not combine them.
Yes.
And also, there are some of my cases that are taking over a year. And in this case, I would say definitely reach out to USCIS, file an inquiry, or reach out to your local congressman for help. But cases, don't assume that, oh no, it's been like 6 months now, my case is not moving, because there are cases that are still stuck in processing. So if your case is, if you've reached a year or even over a year, please do not be alarmed. It's just that particular lockbox or field office is taking a while to process your case.
I have some cases pending from last year.
Me too. Same here. We did try with one of my clients because she had to urgently travel, and she was lucky enough to reach out to an officer and get an officer who did approve her case without an interview. But not that case is not going to be the case for everyone. You can try reaching out to USCIS, chat with Emma, connect to an agent, file an inquiry, and if you have to urgently travel, ask if they can expedite the process.
That's a very good advice. Call USCIS, and trying to get to a person with USCIS is very hard. So one of the options is calling. Now, don't always take for granted the information that is given to you by the person on the phone, because sometimes the information that can be given is also incorrect. I've seen a couple of times where um, it's not even the correct information, and they're just kind of, they give you something just to get you off the phone, and then
Yes.
you deal with it later. They don't want to deal with it. But you can give them a call if you're trying to get a hold of USCIS over the phone. Make sure that you say info pass. You're not requesting an info pass, but that's one of the quickest way to get somebody on the phone. An actual person, actual agent is saying info pass when you call. The other option is doing chat with Emma. Also, take it with um, a grain of salt, the information that they give you, because it may not be, again, be very accurate. I do have a case that's been pending since December of 2024. Their interview is coming up next month. So that's almost 10, 11 months after. And they're just now getting an interview. So it just depends. Don't get discouraged if your case is not moving as fast as you wish. It happens
Correct.
more than often. Also, another thing that I did want to kind of touch base is getting approved at the interview. Also, same, don't get discouraged if you're waiting. I have a client that has been waiting since May for an approval, and they got an approval on the spot. Their I-130 has been approved, but the I-485 still not approved. We're at month 4, waiting for an approval after. No criminal history. There is no reason why it should take this long, but it is. And every single time that I try to do an out of normal processing time or an inquiry with USCIS, the answer that I get is it is still within normal time frame. So
Normal.
also don't get discouraged. Can if you're waiting for more than a week, 2 weeks, I hate to say it, but it's actually pretty normal. Continue to renew your DACA as usual until your green card gets approved.
Correct.
Let's see, any questions? It's a Wednesday. I think everybody's pretty quiet today. It was a long week, a long
Seems
weekend,
like
so
it.
everybody's still trying to recoup from having this long weekend. I know sometimes we have a lot of questions.
Yeah. I also want to touch base on another. So basically, for those of you that do not have a legal entry, okay, and you know you have a U.S. citizen spouse or child, and you want to adjust, but the issue is you don't have a legal entry, okay, go back and check. Was there a petition ever filed under 245I for your parents? You know, by maybe an uncle or an aunt or an employer. This happened to a family member of mine where they did not have a legal entry, and we were pretty much stuck until we ran a FOIA and figured out that a petition was filed for one of their parents under 245I. So, you know, you always want to go back and talk to your parents, and sometimes even your parents don't know, you know. So always check for that petition that was filed under 245I before April 30th of 2001. And even if it was not approved, but it was approvable upon filing, you can still use that petition with evidence that the beneficiary was present in the U.S. You can still use that petition in lieu of a missing entry. And if you think you are, you may have some evidence that a petition was filed for one of your parents or for yourself when 245I was around, you know, schedule a consultation or reach out to us and schedule a question session and we can check, you know, the paperwork for you and see if you qualify under 245I to take that petition and use it in lieu of a missing entry.
Hmm. Yep. Make sure, um, make sure that you have all that information before deciding to move forward or not. And sometimes whenever we're evaluating the cases, we can't take every single case that we see because sometimes we don't have proof and the burden of proof will always fall on the applicant. And it's always the applicant's responsibility to show paperwork to USCIS. So you want to make sure that before you start a petition that you have all your ducks lined and that you can back up your petition with paperwork because USCIS definitely wants to see that you're eligible. And if you send something halfway proven the petition you're trying to do, what they will do is they will accept your application. They will take your money. They will start processing it. In the middle of that process, at some point, they will
Issue.
send you an RFE. If you
Mm-hmm.
can't come up with what they're asking for, they will deny the case. And right now, we don't want any type of denials. Okay. We
And
want to make sure that we have a
yes,
straight shot. Mhm.
yes, and always once you submit your case, you know, check back in every few days in your USCIS online account for any updates. After you issue, you know, if you are issued an RFE and you respond to that RFE, check back into your account every few days or so because sometimes they can issue, God forbid, an intent to deny and not even notify you. It'll be sitting there in your account. So always check those accounts maybe 2 times a week if possible because like I said, God forbid they have an intention to deny your account. You'll have a denial sitting in your USCIS online account and you'll get it in the mail too, but it will take weeks.
Mhm. And sometimes things get lost in the mail. I have a case where they never got their access codes or receipts. I don't know if USCIS ever sent them because some of those documents USCIS doesn't upload to their portal. So we're
Yeah.
just kind of like, um, you want to keep an eye out.
Yeah, and then we also had a little bit of an issue as well. And we don't have any we don't have anything on file in regards to the status of that case, and now we're reaching out to the clients and asking them for receipts. So please, it's very important that you check your USCIS online accounts.
If you don't have one, make one. It's always a good thing to have.
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go to the questions.
I'm going to answer this one if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Jonathan Johnny says to get an appointment, it does not say the price, only a $50 fee if I cancel. Our evaluations, our consultations are $50. Now, one of the biggest questions that we get is how much is it to file with US or how much is it to file with Dreamers Together? And there is not a right answer or a wrong answer because every single case is different and not everybody has the same case. So, for me to tell you a price of how much it's going to be to file your application, I would be in the wrong because I don't know what type of work we're going to be doing with your case. So, if you are trying to get a case evaluation, and Jonathan, I know that you have been trying to get information on pricing, we don't answer private messages. So, that's one of the reasons why your messages have also been gone unanswered is because we don't do DMs on Facebook. The best way to get a price for your case is having an evaluation, a consultation, and it is $50 for that. So on the website, it's going to say $50. And of course, there are some stipulations there. There are some items that you do have to agree to if you want to have your case evaluated. And I think there is a cancellation fee on there. And but there's only if if you don't show up to the appointment without notifying us. If you have to move your appointment, of course we work with you. Please make sure that you reach out to us. But the case evaluation, the case, I call it evaluation because we're evaluating your case, but it's actually a consultation. It is $50, and you don't have to worry about a cancellation fee if you show up. So please make sure that you are there on time. Okay. We would love to have you though, Jonathan. Come talk to us and hopefully, we can work something out for you and give you a price. Now, pricing, Dreamers Together, we are a nonprofit organization, okay? We are registered with the Department of Justice. Legally, we can file these cases. So our prices are affordable because we are a nonprofit. Um, so again, come talk to us. And if you wish to continue with us, you may, or if you want to get a second opinion elsewhere, you can. Having a bad or having a second opinion is not a bad thing. You want to kind of shop around and see what's best for your case. Okay. So, Jonathan, come talk to us. We'd love to have you. We can go into the next one.
Amy. Hello, Amy. I'm waiting for my FOIA results, FOIA results. What can I do in the meantime to get everything ready to apply for AOS? I do have my legal entry and I'm married to a US citizen. Okay, so, is there a reason maybe why you're waiting for your FOIA results? I always say, you can get everything ready, but before you submit that packet, make sure you have that FOIA because, you want to review it and make sure, you know, the applications you're submitting with the information on them are as accurate as needed. So you can obviously gather your marital evidence and, passports, birth certificates, translations, all of that, and you can start the forms. But remember, it is very, very important for you. If you are concerned, definitely wait for your FOIA before you submit that packet, so that you may review that FOIA. So yeah, you can prepare, but again, if I'm waiting for a FOIA, then I'm not going to submit my packet until I get my FOIA, so that I'm safe when I do so. I know what is in my FOIA.
And the wait is worth it. I know sometimes we want to rush into things, but right now the wait is definitely worth it. You want to make sure if there's any doubts whatsoever, how you came in, when you came in, did you ever leave, what was disclosed. Run a FOIA, yes, it's
Hmm.
going to take maybe up to a year, depending on which FOIA you're requesting, but it's better to know and do it correctly than to run into any type of surprises.
Correct. Hello, Nazime. How can we find that info? Okay, just let us know what info you're pertaining to, and then we'll be able to better guide you. Nicole, we have an interview scheduled for October. Will the officer generally ask more proof of income, or do they normally just go over specific questions for the I-485? It depends on the officer. Um, They may just go over the questions of the I-45, or they may ask for, more income proof. So just have, you know, the petitioner's pay stubs with you if the petitioner did file the I-864, or if you have the joint sponsor information. Just take extra pay stubs with you just in case they ask. And if they, at the time of your interview, if they have another job, if they quit their last job, if they ask, just let them know, I now work here. Here are my pay stubs. This is my proof of income. Zoom list. Does 245I was petitioned for parent work for me as an employment based. If an employer did petition for your parent under 245I, yes, you can use that petition to your benefit as well.
I think the question on that is if she has 245I, can she now do employment based, and how would that affect her employment based application with the 245I?
Okay. So the good news with that is employment based is usually constant processing. If you are covered under 245I, you do not need to leave. So
Correct.
yes, it will still work out to your benefit. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I was like,
Okay. Go ahead, Ellie.
Hi, someone with DACA that has a rap sheet with a case with a disposition, stricken from doc with leave to reinstate. Are they in risk with ICE? Gabby, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to know depending on what that disposition was. What was the outcome? Has it been closed? Has it been, has it been closed? Is it pending? Right now, nobody, unfortunately, is safe from ICE.
Sure.
If we saw in the news the past few weeks, Hyundai had a raid.
Read.
People that
Mm-hmm.
had visas that were legally authorized to be in the US and work in the US were detained. There was a DACA recipient. Fortunately, Charles Cook took care of the DACA recipient that had also been detained that has authorization to be in the US and is legally authorized to work, was also detained, right? So it's kind of, we don't really know. They're not really playing by the rules. So my best advice for that would be stay out of trouble completely. Don't let them, don't try to catch attention right now. If you have something and you've taken care of it, generally speaking, you should be fine. But if something happens and you get their attention again, they can kind of see, okay, this is a recurrent thing, or there is already a record, or, so everybody, please, please, please try to stay out of trouble. We need more information, Gabby,
Yes.
to actually be able to give you a clear answer.
Luis. Hi, Luis. What should I bring for my AOS interview? You actually have a notice, and on that notice, just follow the notice. Birth certificates, your passports, any marital evidence that was submitted with the packet, the originals, any updated marital evidence you'd like to present, children's birth certificates. So yeah, just follow your list down to what you need to bring with you. Basically, all of the originals are what was filed with the packet. Hi, Pedro.
Heather.
Go right ahead, Ellie.
Hi, Pedro. My interview was 3 weeks ago and nothing yet. Is there anything I can do? I think they are sitting on my DACA because of my I-485. Pedro, you can reach out to USCIS, give them a call,
Mhm.
do chat with Emma. As we were mentioning early in the live, there are some cases that are pending. And unfortunately, that's the way that USCIS works. They can tell you you're approved on the spot, and then they take months for that approval to reflect on your account or for them to issue that green card. Give them a call and contact USCIS also on your DACA renewal. They have to approve either one, either your DACA or your green card. So continue to reach out. Okay. Hi, Alfredo. This one is my client. Elizabeth, my AOS packet was received 9:15, and today I got notice that they will be reusing biometric. Thank you. You're welcome, Alfredo. Hopefully, Alfredo's cases is one of those that goes by very quickly. So, Alfredo, we hope to have good news here about an interview within the next, few weeks, few months. So we'll stay in touch. We'll keep you posted, and once we get that once we get that green card approval, we'll be posting it. Okay. Think of a few more questions, and then I'm gonna have to go. If you want
Okay,
to,
so yeah, good morning. I have a question. If we are waiting on parole approval, can we change an address or will it affect the application? Like, would it delay? Answer. So basically, they have a pending I-131, and they now need to change their address. And they can't do that, I believe, Ellie, correct? They can go into the USCIS portal and there is a an option and it's the change of address. And then you
mhm.
can just go under and update your address.
Legally, you're supposed to. I think is it 10 days after you
In 10
move?
days.
10 days. You
Yes.
have 10 days once you move. You're supposed to either way change that address. But I'm not sure if she's doing advanced parole or parole in place.
Okay.
So you still need to change your address. Okay.
Yes. And again, go into the USCIS on an account, and you'll see a change of address in there. If you don't know, just Google and it'll take you right to change of address and, the steps. Will, do you work with those looking at employer sponsorship? It's been hard to determine what route I would have to take if I do get sponsor. Since I got DACA after turning 18, I do have a legal point of entry after doing AP in 23. How do I know if 245I is something I would be eligible for? I don't have a deportation order. Okay, we don't work with employment-based cases. But obviously, we have a list of attorneys that can help you. And we really can't determine what route you can take right now because we don't know the facts of your case or if you're eligible under 245I. Go back and speak to your parents and check if maybe someone had filed an application for them back when 245I was around. The fact that you did do AP and you don't have a deportation order, those are two positive things. But again, we don't do employment based. And in order for us to help you determine what route you can take, just schedule an appointment with us. A Q&A, we'll be able to maybe talk about it some more. Okay, guys, a few more questions. Hello, Bernard. My employer wants to petition me. I work in real estate. Is it possible for them to petition me? How long does the process usually take, and is it worth moving forward? Again, we do not here at Dreamers Together, we do not do employment based right now, but we do have a great list of employers. Of attorneys that can help you. I can tell you one thing that with employment based, it usually is consular processing, unless you are covered under 245I. Hi, Melvin. Sending my packet out tomorrow. How do I make the money orders for the one that's over 1,000? It's for AOS through marriage. Oh, okay. So basically, for the I-130, it's $675. You can do a money order or personal check. And you're going to make it out to U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And then for the I-485, it is $1,440. And you can make that one out to U.S. Department of Homeland Security as well. Okay, Rocio. Hi, Rocio. Once approval is received for I-485, how long does it take you to get the green card? It depends. For some people, it's a week. For some people, it's a few weeks. And for some people, it's a month. So it really depends. Okay. You're very welcome, Melvin. Okay, let's see. Brenda, is it safe for a VAWA recipient to apply for emergency advance parole? Brenda, again, VAWA is not within our scope, but we do have a great list of attorneys that are able to answer your questions. So hop onto our Facebook group and type in attorneys, and the whole list will pop up. You're welcome, Rocio. All right, everyone. I think that's about it for today. I just want to remind you all that, when you're submitting these packets, please make sure that, you check your your DACA notices for any gaps. Okay. Check for any arrests. Please don't submit your packets without the disposition of that arrest. And if that arrest is a felony or a misdemeanor or something, concerning that was not dismissed, please reach out to an attorney. If you're unsure, you can always schedule a Q&A with us and we'll be able to take a look at your arrest paperwork and determine, if USCIS might accept it or not. Just please do not just submit your case with, a letter stating I don't have my records, they're expunged, because they're going to RFE you. Okay. Go to the courthouse, do a background check. Let them know, it was expunged, but I have this in this paperwork, and here's my background check from the court. You have to give them something. But before you proceed with that case, if you have an arrest and it was not dismissed or whatever the case may be, definitely, forward right now where we stand without, if you don't need to, okay? Especially if you have DACA, all right? Keep DACA active so that it protects you. And do not submit your paperwork just because you have the disposition record of your arrests that you think, it's fine to proceed. Please reach out and check if you can or should proceed at this moment. Okay, that's basically it for today, guys. We will see you all next week. Have your questions ready. Until then, have yourselves a great week. Take care.